think I finally did it. I think I cracked the code. I think this is it. A little birdie told me that she wanted to know how to turn your lash business into a multi-six-figure brand, and I'm gonna teach you all of my tips and tricks. Good morning, you guys, and welcome back to another video with axb.company. If you do not know who I am, my name is Kiona, and I am the owner of a multi-six-figure lash business, and I wanna teach you my ways and how I got here. You're not gonna get rich off of just lashing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Once I retired lashing, that's when I started making way more money. So when you come into the lash industry, your goal isn't to do lashes for the rest of your life. Like, being in the lash industry, yes, because I don't ever see myself getting out of the lash industry. What your main goal should be is climbing the industry ladder. Think about it like this. When you get an entry-level job, you're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I'm gonna be okay with making $14 the rest of my life. Are you? No. You're gonna try and climb that ladder to make more money and become higher in position, right? Same thing with lash artists, or same thing with anybody in the beauty industry. Your main goal should be to climb the ladder and to eventually own a brand so fucking big that everybody knows who you are. So the first thing that we're gonna start with is how I was able to afford my initial investment to start my product line. I wasn't. I was broke. I was a lash artist, and I did get a lot of clients, but it literally only paid my bills. I had a lot of debt. I had a lot of credit cards. I had these big bills. So it only covered my bills, and I didn't have money left over to invest. But this is where creativity came in. I knew that I had been in the lash industry for a while now. I knew that I was knowledgeable, and people were starting to come to me to ask if I provided training. Now, yes, I could have provided in-person training at like $800 a training, but I knew that I would mostly only be able to target people in my city. This is where my online lash course comes in. So I created something digital that I could sell to literally everybody. And now I have students in all 50 states and 44 countries. I have over 10,000 students who have took my online lash course. But I started with a digital product because it was free. No, okay. Excuse me, it wasn't free. It was, I think, like Canva's $11.99 or $12.99 a month. I used a credit card to pay for Canva, my Canva subscription, and I created a digital product. Once I started to get digital sales, that's when I started to add products to my product line. So I actually wanted to add lash trays to my product line first, but if I were to add lash trays, I would have got 100 lash trays for like $1,000+, and I had the $1,000, but I did not want to put it all into one product. I went with something that was more low cost, and I ended up adding tweezers to my website first. Once I got these tweezers in, first, I started to try and market to the girls in my city, but guess what? The people that are closest to you are not going to support you. So if you think that your target audience is going to be the people in your neighborhood and the local lash artists, babe, they're going to be your biggest haters. So you know what I did? I actually added my tweezers into the lash course. I let my students know, like, okay, this is the section where we're going to learn how to make a fan. And if you want to make the perfect fan, you need these tweezers. That's exactly how I said it. I told them, I said, these are the only tweezers that you are going to need to be able to make the perfect fan. So I started to get sales from that, and then I also started to make videos on TikTok. I started to make educational videos. So I would record myself, and I would do voiceovers, like how to make a fan, how to isolate, how I do this, how I do that, and my tweezers started to blow up. I remember the first time I had I want to say I had like 10 orders going out at once. That's when I started to realize, like, okay, if I keep marketing this shit the way I am, my brand is going to freaking explode and it is going to blow up. Now, let me tell you, the money that you are going to start making from these digital products and your first product, you are not going to keep 100% of that money, because what you want to do is you are going to keep reinvesting it. You're going to order more tweezers, and then you're going to add another product. So after I ordered more tweezers, I added another product, which was adhesive, because it was the second cheapest. And by this time, I had already learned my lesson. I was like, you know what? F them girls that are in my city. All these local lash artists, they say they support me, but they really don't. So I'm just gonna focus on the lash artists all over the world. And that is exactly what I did. I finally gained enough followers on TikTok to go live. So what I would do is every single day, I did not miss a day. I would go live while I was doing clients, and I would go live even without clients, of me just making fans on live. People would ask me questions like, what tweezers are you using? What glue are you using? Why isn't my glue sticking? And when people would ask those questions, how do I get better retention? And why isn't my glue sticking? Guess what? I would put my glue bottle in the camera and I said, because you're not using axb.company glue. And at the time, I wasn't even axb.company yet. I was still Angelic X Beauty Co. So imagine me saying like, oh, you have to get this glue from Angelic X Beauty Co. if you want good retention. I was starting to learn how to make content and how to be personal in my content. I was learning how to catch people's attention. I was learning how to do like visual hooks and text hooks and all these things. Then my content really started to blow up and I was starting to gain thousands of followers a day. My product line was doing okay. It was paying the bills. It was keeping food on the table. I still had a little bit of money left over, but then I added lash trays to my website. I made one video about these lash trays, and you guys, that is literally what changed my life. I'm getting a little bit emotional just because when I added these lash trays and I made that video blew up, and all I kept seeing all night was order after order after order, and I was like, okay, I think I finally did it. Like, I was like, okay, I think I finally did it. I think I cracked the code. I think this is it. And I remember telling my man, like, babe, look at all these orders. And I started to get like overwhelmed because I'm like, no way. Like, I'm literally living my dream right now. We had moved into a new house, and when we moved into that new house, I was like, shit needs to change. I can't keep playing with my business anymore. I'm taking this shit serious. And I sat there and I kept putting in the work, and finally I was able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Once that started blowing up, all my other products started blowing up. So my lash trays is kind of what put me on the map. And then when people ordered my lash trays, they came back and ordered my adhesive, and then they came back and ordered my tweezers. So then I started to add other things like primer, bonder, glue remover, and all that good stuff. But I'm telling you guys this because I just wanted to let you guys know, like, I did not have a lot of money to start with when I started my product line. Like I said, I literally started with a digital product because I'm like, what can I sell to people that I don't have to make a huge investment in? Because I didn't have the extra $300 to $400 to buy tweezers at first. I didn't even have an extra $100. I barely had the extra $11.99 a month. That's why I put it on a credit card. So now that you guys know how axb.company was born and how I was able to turn my lash brand into a multi-six-figure business, I want to dive into the tips and tricks that I learned that I wish I knew way before, because I probably would have been taken off. When it comes to creating your digital product, make sure that you have a lot of visuals. It cannot just be pages with a bunch of text on them, because people are not going to read it. When people read this information, they want to see something visually that pertains to that information, because that's what's going to keep them entertained enough to keep reading. You want to make sure that it's cute as well. So you want to make sure that you are using a nice font, and you want to make sure that you are using colors. I'm going to show you guys like a quick little preview of what my online lash course looks like if you don't already know. So this is the cover. Hold on, let me get my face out the camera. This is the cover of my online lash course. Let me turn this down. Hold on. You guys can see that I use a lot of pink in my online lash course because those are my brand colors. You guys see for this dictionary part, we have a lot of pink, and then we have a bunch of picture visuals in the very beginning. So this keeps them hooked, and this keeps them wanting to read. On every single page, you guys see that I have some type of color. So I have this banner up here that's pink, and the font that I use is super easy to read. And then we have like blue, we have pink, we have more picture visuals, more pink, more visuals. Like, do you guys see how this makes you want to keep reading? Because you're like, oh wow, like what is she going to show next? That is exactly what you want when you are pushing a digital product, because if they're just looking at blank pages or pages that kind of just look like a newspaper, trust me, they are not going to want to read it. Number 2, you need to make sure that you know what the heck you are talking about. The number one reason why my online lash course sells itself, literally, is because in my videos, I already provide a good amount of information to where people are like, wow, like she teaches a lot for free in these videos. I wonder what's in her course. When you are promoting this lash course or any digital product, you need to know what the heck you're talking about. You need to sound fluent. You need to sound like you've been doing this shit since you were born. People tell me all the time, like, I was learning so much from your videos, so I decided to invest in the course, and oh my God, it was amazing. Do you know how many comments I get like that every single day? How many emails and how many DMs I get of people telling me like, wow, I thought your videos were informative, but this lash course is a whole different level. And when it comes to starting your own product line, you need to do so much sample testing. When you are testing tweezers, make sure that you are getting multiple of that same tweezer style. So let's say that I'm getting a mega boot and a skinny boot. I'm going to get 6 mega boots and 6 skinny boots. And that's because I want to make sure that out of those 6, at least 4 of them work. When you are starting to test things like adhesive, you want to make sure that you are, for one, using this adhesive on your clients, or you are giving this adhesive to other lash artists for free in order for them to give you feedback on how it works. And for my adhesive, I tested it for about 6 to 8 months before I even dropped it. I used it on every single client, and that's how I was able to dictate things like how well it worked on oily clients or dry clients or clients who sweat a lot or go to the gym. I knew that my adhesive could withhold through a client's lifestyle. When you are getting liquid products from your vendors and you are sampling products, make sure that you are asking for an MSD sheet. An MSD sheet stands for Material Safety Data. So it will give you the percentage of every ingredient that is in that liquid. And you want to do this because some companies like to slip in extra ingredients that are cheaper for them to produce, but harmful to your clients. Now, when it comes to testing lash trays, make sure that you are testing different diameters and different curls. What you're going to be looking for is things like how the material feels, how the curl looks, is it true to diameter? Because there have been times where I ordered a sample of 0.03, but it really felt like 0.05 or 0.07. Or I've also ordered lash trays where they say like, oh, it's the softest lash tray on the market, but when I get it, they're super stiff and plasticky. Some of these lash fibers do not hold their curl well, so that's also what you're going to be looking for. You're going to do your client's lashes with these lash trays, and when they come back for their fill, what you want to look for is to make sure that the fibers are still soft. And you want to make sure that the fibers still have their curl. So let's say you use a D curl, right? Everything looks good. You're like, oh my God, these are so nice. I love these lash trays. Your client leaves, comes back 2 weeks later, and her lashes look like C curl. And that's because over time, the curl started to loosen when she was taking showers, when she was in the gym and heat was radiating off her body, or when she was just walking outside and the sun was out. And that is exactly what you do not want at all. And if you are sampling loose base trays, you need to make sure that every single tray that you're sampling is actually loose base, because I had a vendor who I was working with for a while and they started to change my lash trays, and I didn't realize because at this point I had been selling these lash trays for so long by now. People loved them, but then I started to get feedback like, hey girl, I think I got a defective tray. So again, always make sure that your trays are loose base trays if that's what you are offering to your customers, because some vendors, either they have a lot of people to service so they start getting things mixed up, or the quality of their material unfortunately just starts to downgrade. So then that's when it's time for you to find a new vendor. All of my vendors I've found on Alibaba. When you go on the Alibaba app, you are going to search what you are looking for. And when you search what you're looking for, you want to make sure that they are verified vendors. So it's going to have a little check mark next to their name. Hold on. I'll show you guys right now. So let's say that we are looking for lash trays, right? Oops, if I could spell. So do you guys see like it has that blue check mark and it says verified? That's who you're going to want to go with. So just for the fun of it, let's just click on this one here. So it's going to take you to their page, right? This is what you're going to see. You can scroll over. You see it says home. You want to scroll over to products. And this is where you are going to see the fibers that they offer, the different curls that they offer. So let's see. It says that they have C, CC, D, and DD curl. They also have L curl and M curl. They carry 0.03, 0.05, 0.07, 0.10. And I'm pretty sure most vendors do carry like 0.15 and 0.18, 20, etc. But sometimes they don't list it because those aren't their most popular diameters. So do you guys see how you can order your samples from right here and it says start order or add to cart? Do not do that. Instead, what you want to do is you actually want to press this chat now button. because this is where they're going to start giving you deals and you're going to be able to order samples for way cheaper. I texted them back in 2023 and I said, hi, would it be possible to sample these lash trays? And I sent them the picture of the lash tray that I wanted. And sometimes they will transfer you to a different product manager. So you can see that she transferred me to somebody else, and that's where I continued my conversation with Anna. So when you start asking about these products, you want to ask 3 very important questions. The first question is the MOQ, which is some vendors, you have to order a certain amount of product in order to get it customized. So like if it says MOQ 10 tweezers, you have to order at least 10 tweezers in order to get your name on it. Or like for lash trays, I believe the MOQ is usually 100. So you have to order 100 lash trays in order to get your logo on those lash trays. And then you want to ask what their turnaround time is. Now you have to remember with some of these products, it's going to take months. Like for my lash trays, it takes about a month and a half to 2 months in order for me to receive my customized order. But for like primer and bonder, it'll take anywhere from like 1 to 2 weeks. The third most important question is, when is their peak season? You want to ask when their busiest season is, so that way you know when to order ahead of time, so that way you're not stuck waiting on your order for a longer period of time because they have way too many orders to make. Let's say that you are in love with your samples and you are finally ready to invest into your product line. Before you even text them, you need to have all your information ready. For one, you need to have your logo and design ready. You either need to hire a graphic designer or do what I do and design all of your products yourself on Canva. And then 2, you need to have your MOQ ready. Let's say that you are ordering lash trays. I always have something like this in my notes. Hopefully it'll focus. I always have something like this in my notes to where I can copy and paste and send it to my vendor. So that way there's no mix-ups. I know exactly how many of each curl and each diameter that I need. And I am able to just send her all that information and we can get production started literally right away. And after you and your vendor finalize everything, it's going to be time to pay. Most vendors, sometimes they will send you over to WhatsApp and then they'll send you a link to pay on PayPal or an app called Zoom. Zoom is going to be spelled with an X. That is a very popular app that most vendors in Pakistan use. If they're from China, they're going to have you pay through Alibaba. So they're just going to send you a payment link where you press on the link, you put in your card information, you're going to actually text them your shipping address, and then that's it. Your order is finalized. Now you have to remember that these products are coming from across the country. So those shipping fees that you guys see them adding on, please know that they are not trying to scam you. They're not trying to get extra money, but sometimes shipping fees, depending on how big your order is, can be up to $400. And then you'll also see certain fees on your invoice, like a printing fee or an ink fee. That just means that they are charging a fee in order to print and make your logo on these custom boxes or custom tweezers, whatever it may be that they're making for you. After that, it is now just time to sit back and wait for your product to come in. And when it comes in, you want to market the heck out of that product in order to get sales. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I will make another video, which will be a part 2 to this video on how I really marketed my product and how I was able to get sales like this. But thank you guys so much for watching my video. I will have so many more to come. If you have any questions, make sure you guys comment down below and I will make a video out of it. I really hope that this video motivated you to keep going in your lash journey. I literally started from nothing and turned it into something.